Ohio State has won the playoff before. It was the first season of the college football playoff back in 2014. In fact, they haven't lost back-to-back games since the 2013 season. Coming off that loss to Michigan, looking to keep their season alive against a Georgia Bulldog team, looking to become the first repeat champions since that 2011-2012 Alabama program. Let's check in with C.J. Stroud, who was a Heisman contender for a while until the finale.
Yeah, I mean, they do a hell of a job. I mean, they're very well coached, but I think the players are on the program, and that's something as a coach that you want. And even getting recruited by them, I know that just they have great communication back there when it comes to secondary, dealing with motions, dealing with shifts and things like that, and route combinations, pattern matching, and things like that. So they do a hell of a job with route recognition and just seeing what they have. And they match up really well. They're big, they're strong, they're physical. And up front, I think that's where they do a really, really good job, of course, with Jalen Carter. He's a really good player and going to be an early first-round pick, and very deserving of that. And really just a fan of his game and how he plays so hard. So it's going to be a battle, and I definitely think that we're excited for that.
And let's take you out to Atlanta right now. A couple of guys who call Atlanta home, Barrett, Sallee, and Bryant McFadden joining us. Barrett, what's the vibe like out there, assuming it's going to be a pro-Georgia crowd with many just being able to drive from home, but Ohio State fans travel well?
Yeah, they do. And honestly, walking around downtown today, saw a lot of Ohio State fans at the hotel and just walking around Centennial Park. So, yes, Georgia fans going to drive. Obviously, they're not going to sit around at a hotel. But, B-Mac, I tell you, it's not going to be that much of a home field advantage.
No question. One thing we know about Buckeye Nation, they support their guys. They follow them, especially knowing how meaningful this ball game is. This is an opportunity for them to get one step closer to competing for a championship. So they know how imperative it is for them to support the guys on the football field, and, of course, the coaches. And so I expect this thing to be 50-50 to say the least, because like I said, when you talk about the prestige, the tradition that Ohio State has, their fans are right here ready to rock and roll.
We're going to get impact players from both sides, beginning with Ohio State, and B-Mac's going to take us through those. And it all begins with C.J. Stroud, who B-Mac needs to look more like the Heisman favorite he was for much of the season after throwing a couple picks against Michigan.
No question, Chris. The last time we saw CJ on the football field, he got outperformed by J.J. McCarthy in that Michigan ball game. He has to be the best quarterback on the football field. He has to showcase that Heisman-type talent that followed him throughout the majority of this season, and he has to dominate. He has to dominate. I think they go only as far as C.J. Stroud takes them. So I expect to see a big-time game from him, because they need to see that for them to have a shot. Outside of C.J. Stroud, let's keep him on the offensive end. Paris Johnson, one of the best offensive linemen in college football. His energy needs to trickle throughout the entire offensive line unit based on the guys they will see in the trenches for UGA. There are quite a few guys that UGA has that will be playing on Sunday. Paris has to dominate, and he has to be the quality sound leader on that offensive end for them to throw the football effectively and, of course, running the football. And lastly is Tommy Etchenberg. He is the heart and soul for their defense. The last time we saw Tommy and the Ohio State Buckeye defense on the football field, Donovan Edwards had over 200 yards. He is still running for daylight against that defense. They cannot have the issues that we saw against Michigan, against UGA, because one thing about Georgia, they love setting the tone in the trenches on the offensive end, and if they can run the football, you better believe they're going to have a lot of success offensively.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.